how would you describe your year and your experience in office?
Well, fun.
Fun, okay.
Yeah, but sometimes can be a little crazy also.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we didn't plan, I said. From day one, one of my first announcements was that we want to ratify the remaining 6 International Human Rights Convention. But we know for a fact that I said is not the first one that we will do. But somehow I think it went out of hand. I didn't make the announcement saying that we want to do what I said. And then I think it was hijacked. And then we were not prepared to reply, to answer properly. And that was how, it just went berserk lah. Rome Statute, we were more prepared. But we didn't expect that the public will easily be influenced by the Professor Kangkong, and hence we have to make a U-turn, unfortunately, in our decision. Yeah.
When you say it was hijacked, do you mean like hijacked by the Malay Muslim nationalists? The arguments were hijacked, or hijacked by who?
Well, I wouldn't say who exactly hijacked, but basically we were not in control of the ISIS storyline. That's and it was hijacked to the extent that people actually make a big hoo-ha out of it, to the extent that, I mean, for example, we could have just said, okay, we are not going to do this now, but we had to come up with a statement saying we are not going to do it, and that's because it just went out of control.
Lessons would you say you will learn from this experience moving forward if you want to push other conventions?
The deep state is still there. Yeah, so we have to be more careful, and you have to be extra bold if you want to really push some reform agenda.
It's a matter of perception at the end of the day.
But the deep state is real, so they influence perception.
Yeah.
So you have to fight them.
Okay. So in terms of strategy, that's what
we have to be prepared with our strategy. We have to have the storyboard ready. And the good thing now is that Minister Gorbin has got a properly formalized communication committee, which have started working. Of course, you don't see it working. It's supposed to be, but they are working already. So I think now we are more prepared.
So like, there's been debate, right, or argument about who these deep state actors are. How would you define the deep state? Are these people really within the government or within the country?
Well, by definition, there's no real definition of deep state. But normally they are either inside the government, but you can't really identify who they are. They can be agent provocators that are created by certain quarters to create fear among the people, or to, in the context of social media, to distribute all kinds of stories on campaign. It could be fake news, it could be half-truth. But the idea is to stop certain reform from being carried out, or to sabotage certain good projects from being carried out. So you can't really prove who the deep state is, and perhaps that's the reason why the term is coined, that there is something happening, there are people moving, but you can't really identify who they are. But in this kind of things, I think we as the government, we just have to be bold. We have to come up with our narrative, and should there be any deep states, efforts to fail, whatever that we want to do, then we have to have the counter narrative with it.
Coming back to the 6 conventions that you we want to ratify, this government wants to ratify it, and now we're left with 4. What the latest one I think that has come onto the table is the Convention Against Torture.
There are 2 things. Yeah?
Okay.
Number one, we have always been looking at the low-hanging fruits, and we thought that the 2 would be the UN Convention Against Torture and
Cruel and inhuman punishment.
yeah, and the other one is on enforced disappearance. So we are looking at these 2. Number 2, there is a new development where the cabinet has just agreed that the division or the department bahagian undang-undang under the PMO, and hence the minister in charge in this context is Fikri, now becomes the focal point for human rights works in the government, whereas Wisma Putra handles the international aspects of it. This is important because in the past we have never had a focal point for human rights works conducted by the government. To me, this is something very, very positive. And because of that, we have now a more concerted effort, because there is a real focal point. So I'm very hopeful that because we have now a proper focal point, then we can expedite the works in rectifying, if not both, one of the 2 low-hanging fruits.
Sorry, just one more. I know I'm monopolizing all the questions, but because with the
Not that I don't know you. Pecah.
It's not the torture element, the torture part that could be difficult. It's a cruel, inhuman punishment part could be difficult because Sharia law can be defined as under that. Something cruel, inhuman, and degrading.
Okay.
Right? So, so do you foresee problems ratifying that?
There are 2 things. Number one, from my understanding, there are many Muslim majority countries that have Sharia court, which includes the Sharia caning, and they sign on to UNCAT. And I think the UNCAT controlling organization understand that the Sharia caning is different than the common law caning. Yeah? And because of that, it should not be an issue. But number 2, learning from experience, there may be people who then will say, look, we are now compromising, we compromise our Sharia law, we are going to compromise because we are now ratifying. So what needs to be done, and this has been in the planning, is to talk to the Sharia court authorities, and I believe this is now being done, that we need to discuss with them. Look, we will continue with our Sharia court, nothing will change in as far as the Sharia court caning is concerned, but we're going to ratify UNCAT because it is about torture.
I have to ask about Zakir Naik because recently Interpol released a letter saying that there's just no red notice on him. There's just no justification to extradite him or put him on some red list or black list. So can you tell us where we are, where Malaysia is vis-a-vis Zakir Naik now?
I think the position is remains the same, that it is our belief that he may not be given a fair trial should we send him back to
our treatment of Zakir Naik, and then like for instance treatment of, you know, there were these two Thai critics that were critical of the Thai royalty, sought asylum over here, and you know we sent them back, right? Whereas like Zakir Naik, who's wanted on all these charges, we didn't send him back. So is that, do you see a contradiction in that?
I guess now the government has come up with a decision that we would be more careful in sending people back.
So this includes all future people who come.
Well, it could be on a case by case, but we need to be more careful. For example, there can be some reports on someone by certain countries or by certain international organizations. I think on our part we need to validate those information. For example, I mean, this is just a scenario. If someone fled from one particular country who have undergone some kind of counter-revolution, say a particular country for the first time have a properly democratically elected government, but due to some deep state incidences, that democratically elected government was dethroned, and one or two persons seek refuge in our country, and then you have an extradition letter coming from that particular country, then you will have to think twice and validate the situation, because we are supposed to be a pro-democracy administration, a pro-human right demonstration who believes in freedom and the rule of law.